Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on Open Mic Foundation, Open Mic for Women. It is a Sunday afternoon. We have our second guest speaker for today. It is Kyoto. Oh, see, I missed the name again.
Yeah, try again.
Okay,
Khutala.
I'm going to give it Khutala Mayosi.
Khutala.
There we go.
Yeah.
Khutala Mayosi. Thank you so much, Khutala, for joining us today on Open Mic Foundation. I want to welcome you and thank you so much for coming today in celebration of Women's Month. And, you know, our theme is about women of today. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming through and sharing your story with us. I think to kick off, if you could just introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, before we get into the topic of journey of creativity, right? So I'm going to hand it over to you just a few minutes. Over to you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Thank you, Sashni, and welcome everyone. Hello, you hi?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you very well. Thank you for having me in the platform. I would like to welcome everyone else who is live streaming. My name is Khutala. I am an African girl born in Umtata, the Eastern Cape. Grew up in Ngamakwe, in Fort Malan, and now I'm based in Johannesburg.
Okay, all right.
So
okay, let's.
I would like, yeah, that's fine.
Carry on. I think we have a little bit of delay between our sound.
Okay, all right. So I am now in Johannesburg. I am working as a designer, and my path started when I was very young. I used to play with my mother's sewing machine, and that led to me being the crafter that I am today. I like calling myself a crafter because I work with detail. I focus on detail. I do a lot of handwork in my clothing. So I would like to call myself a crafter because of that. In the platform, I was invited by Pelogazi. You know, yeah. When Pelogazi calls you every day, you must tell your story. So I said, so let it be. Yeah. So today is the day I journey with you on my story of creativity. But before we start, I would like to acknowledge a few women that have been influential in my life. My grandmother.
Oh, wow.
My grandmother, we called her Makulu.
Yeah,
she is
Makulu.
My father's. Yeah, she is my father's mother. She taught me patience. My other grandmother, my maternal grandmother, who we called Gogo, she was a lady. My mother, a disciplinarian.
That's our mothers.
Yes, my dadada is my father's sister. She was very loving. And my sister, she is very decisive. If you need advice,
yes,
first to go person. So I would like to just acknowledge those 5 people in my life.
Wow, beautiful.
Say happy Women's Month to everyone and them included.
Wow, that is absolutely precious. Thank you so much for that. It is amazing when you have surrounded by so many women around you that inspire you and help you through your own journey. And to recognize these women in your life is, absolutely phenomenal. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's very personal. So thank you so much for that, Khutala.
Thank you, Sashni.
So let's get to it. Let's get to your story. I'm very intrigued by your story. And journey of creativity, picking up I think everyone's mom or grandmom or gogo back then had these little sewing machines that they used to do with those old Singer machines, and they used to go with the pedals and go with the wheels. I know my mom had one. My mom had one. So please, take us through your journey.
Yeah, I think my journey is a tapestry of color. That's how I see it. When I see color, I'm inspired. And to me, color gives meaning to whatever I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, I've realized that it influences me somehow. And I've been surrounded by certain colors, whereby, when I pick something,
Mm-hmm.
it would be a certain color. And in the house, for instance, I would end up having a theme without even, having thought or planned about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I call my life a tapestry of color. I am influenced by color. I'm influenced by the environment because I grew up in the rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
The earth colors are the colors that always surround me. The colors of the soil, the colors, the greens, those are the colors that are always, wherever I am, I find
Mm-hmm.
myself having to pick up a certain color, and I always go to those colors. And texture, I can write a story about textures. Textures to me are like personalities. When you grow up with your brothers and your sisters, no one is the same. So if you take, for instance, fur and you take silk, and then you compare those two, they are different, but in the
Absolutely.
same breath, it's fabric.
Yes.
So what I do in my work, it connects with family. It connects with everything else. I am influenced by my surroundings, and at all times I feel I have to be grounded in order to think properly and execute an idea. So that is my life, surrounded by texture, surrounded by, the richness of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and people. Love plays a big part of my life. Love from friends, from family, from everyone else. Whenever I meet somebody, I always make sure that whether it's for business or a personal, meeting,
Mm-hmm.
it lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
I have a way of connecting with people that makes the relationship, extend further.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that in my business. And I have found that it works perfectly well because it keeps the circle of connectivity going. The storytelling platform that I'm in, I have realized actually that I have had that storytelling, what you call, I don't know what you call it. I've been drawn into storytelling from very early in life.
Okay.
At a very young age, we were doing the Christmas story of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I was exposed to storytelling. And then I was told that I will play the role of a lamb, the holy lamb, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't turn up very well because I couldn't see myself as a lamb. The only lamb that the only lamb that I know is the lamb that I see in the village. So it didn't end up very well at all because I ended up crying and refusing to be this holy lamb. I just didn't understand, you know, the relationship between a lamb. How can you play a lamb? So that was the first time I was actually exposed to, you know, tell a story. And then I said, no, I can't. It does not look real to me. The second time I was at school. I went to high school in St. John's College in Umtata. So I was at school, and then my brother, the one that I come after, started a magazine, the Fortnightly Chat. So in this magazine, I was given a column to write, and I actually wrote my first poem.
Oh, wow.
I was writing poetry, but now I don't know where the publications are. I've never kept record of all those poems, but I was writing poems. I was putting the magazine together. I was selling it. Me and my friend, you know, we had to get a typewriter and type it out and do all sorts of things. But we were involved immensely in this magazine. So, well, I thought if Pelokazi says, tell your story, I've told it before, I've been part of it, so I can do it actually.
Yeah.
So you know, in life, you get to do certain things and then you realize that you can actually, you know, do this or do the other. With the story of I think after matric, when I left school, I was about 16 years old when I finished matric. So I had not decided exactly what I wanted to do. That's why I took designing, because I could sew. I've been sewing, I've been playing with dolls, I've been doing this and this and that. So I thought, let me do designing. And with that, maybe when I finish in 3 years' time, I would have decided what I want to do. I completed a 3-year course at PE Technicon, and from there, I went to do fine arts at Wits. But with fine arts, I got bored. So I really got bored. So I went back to fashion. I started working at a factory in the factory was called Best Form. We were doing lingerie and, you know, underwear. So I started working there. That was my first experience of work. And from, I think I worked there for about 6 months. And then I went back to Port Elizabeth. That is where my parents were staying at the time. So in Port Elizabeth, I started my first business, which was called the Black Rose Boutique. So with the Black Rose Boutique, I started supplying shops in Transkei, and I had, clients. I was seeing clients, taking orders. And
Were you making the stuff from the boutique itself?
I was making the stuff, but I had people that were helping me. I had machinists that were
Okay, and
working
how
under
old were
me.
you at that time?
I was about 20,
Wow.
21.
Okay.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was actually supported by the small business, this what do they call it at the time? But it was the Small Business Development Corporation.
Yeah.
Who funded me for that project.
Okay.
So I went on until I got married. So when I got married, I had closed shop and I moved to Namakwaland, where I now stayed. And, I stayed because I was bringing up my family. I've got 3 children. So I had to bring up the children and stop working for a while until we moved to Joburg. Then in Joburg, I started working again.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started my design work. And with my design work, I joined there was a project that was started by the Joburg Development Association.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to rework the fashion district. So there were parts of the city that were allocated for fashion. So I was one of the designers that they started the project with. It's in Pritchard Street, run by Reese Men. So it's in Pritchard Street. It's still there even now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's still there. So I started there. When I was in the project, we started getting invitations to go outside the country. So we had collections, and then those collections, we would have to take them outside the country and, sell South Africa. So I started traveling that time. It was around 2004.
Okay.
So I started traveling. My first trip was to, I think it was the embassy in Zimbabwe. We were invited by the embassy for the embassies. They usually celebrate South Africa Day, Heritage Day, and all those big events.
Yes.
So it was an event, a South Africa Day event. So they had also invited other musicians and designers and, to showcase the work. So that is how now I started traveling outside the country through the embassies, the embassy of Zimbabwe. I went to Senegal. I went from Zimbabwe, I did Harare, and then I also I went to Vic Falls. In Vic Falls, I did the supermodels. I was dressing the supermodels, and I was also part of the judging panel in the supermodels. So I got involved in all those events. So at that time, I started making connections with other embassies. I ended up going to Fiji Islands, and then from Fiji, I made the first South African fashion show. I had a model that I was traveling with,
Okay.
who we had to bring our own collection,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had to cast models from the villages around there. We had to get our own models and then put up our own South African fashion show. So from that fashion show, it attracted a lot of international people. That from that show that I did in Fiji, I got noticed by another organization in the US
Mm-hmm.
that actually started inquiring about me. Who is Khutala? From this, who's Khutala Mayosi from this fashion show in Fiji? There was a lot of noise. There was a lot of noise about the show, and all sorts of things. And then from there, I started showing. Now, she started inviting me to shows in the US. So I would go to New York, I would go to San Francisco, I would appear in newspapers there. They would write about me in women wear daily. I would have articles through the South African, the through Sada style. So Yana Fleming was the coordinator of the project. So with Yana taking my clothing, exposing my clothing overseas, she ended up introducing me to an organization called All for Africa. All for Africa works with rural communities.
Yeah.
And then all the projects that they were doing with All for Africa, then I would, let's say, they would commit me maybe to design a bag and bead it, and then take it to the communities, to do more and sell it. So they involved me in all these community projects for a long time. And then I got exposed now to working with communities, of which at a later stage, I've started doing that to train them in handwork, to do all sorts of activities with communities. And so even now, I am involved with a community-based organization that is in Soweto. So I upskill their work. So I check the quality and, all sorts of things, and try and bring their products to markets. So with also with my travels, I would take the products from, young and people that are still starting up, and
Wow.
take them to the markets.
Yeah. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you had that one break in Fuji. That's what it seems like, right?
Yes.
And it opened up so many doors for you and such an incredible way of getting your art and your craft, out there. What type of people, how do people view your designs right now across the world? What are, this is what's sad for me, right? You have this phenomenal woman that established herself in the international market, but the people of South Africa, and I could be mistaken, I don't know, are people aware of Khutala's designs? Are they wearing it? Are they showcasing it? I'm not too sure. It's I mean, as much as you're doing the work, in the communities, which is fantastic, because now you're taking their products and you're giving them the exposure that they need. How has your brand, elevated within South Africa versus internationally?
Well, within South Africa, I think it's very difficult to break the market, actually.
Yeah.
I've always find it very easy to sell my products overseas. I have, okay, take for instance, I would be invited by, let's say, the Department of Environmental Affairs. I'm just making an example,
Okay.
to display my products when they have
Yes.
visitors from overseas.
Mm-hmm.
You go to these events with
Mm-hmm.
all your beautiful craft and South African designs, and you
Mm-hmm.
find that the people that will show interest are people from outside more than people from South Africa.
Okay.
For instance, I've participated in events like SA Fashion Week. You will find that the response, you get more response from outside. That's why I actually continued traveling, because I
Okay.
would make collections, travel, and sell it, and
Okay.
sell the whole suitcase of clothing. There was
Wow.
one time I applied for, I applied to go to San Francisco
Mm-hmm.
on my own. It was through a client who met me in South Africa and bought my clothing. And then she said, come to San Francisco, I will get you more customers. Bring a suitcase full of clothes. So I applied, I got a visa, I went via JFK. When I got to JFK with the big bag of clothing, then I was stopped actually at customs. And then they said, where are you going? I showed them, I was given a permit. I gave them, but I said, I'm here to showcase my stuff. So they said, okay, we need more documentation from your Department of Trade and Industry, because you cannot come into the States and sell. You can come in and showcase, but you cannot come and sell without a certain documentation. So I just acted blank. I said, I did apply. I did show you all my, invitation letters. So I was not given anything. They detained me for about 2 to 3 hours, because they were saying we are going to cut a hole in each garment to make sure that you don't sell it, because
What?
you don't have a proper documentation to get in the country with the clothing and sell it. So I stayed there. I acted blank, actually. I said, I did apply at the embassy and I gave you all my documents. And I told you exactly why I am coming to the US. So at the end, we had to come up, with an agreement with what is going to happen, because I've already now bought all my tickets from JFK. I'm going to San Francisco. So what they did, they had to do a record of all the garments that I'm carrying. And then
Wow.
when I come back,
Yeah.
I needed to go and open my bag and count that I've not sold anything. So I traveled, I went to San Francisco. It was so interesting, because I was actually going, when you go on a show, you're going to sell. I can't
Okay.
go there and then go back with the clothing and go back to South Africa. But it every time I travel, I would get those problems. I'm carrying all sorts of luggage, and then I'm stopped Then they say, your permits, why are you carrying all these clothes? Sometimes the luggage will be left behind. I would be doing a show and then the luggage is lost in transit.
Wow.
In other places, I would end up not doing the show because it's left somewhere. If, let's say, you're connecting flights and then the luggage gets, delayed or, all sorts of things. So I would come up with such problems, but at the end, everything would work out at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. But in South Africa, it's more difficult to be recognized than elsewhere in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of comments coming through. Well, we have a comment coming through. Thank you, viewers, for coming through and watching Khutala for showcasing, her story. We have somebody called Simeni, and there's a question for you, Khutala. She says, when did you realize that you wanted to go into the creative industry?
It was natural. It was a natural progression because it was easy for me. It came easy for me. I just ended up in it. Simani is my daughter. What is her profile?
Yeah, Simani. Yeah.
She's my daughter.
Well, thank you for the question.
No, it was a natural progression. It's something that came naturally to me. I have a friend actually that was at Wits who reminded me that I came to Wits to do fine arts, but I was carrying a sewing machine. So I was always sewing, even, at Wits. So wherever I go, I travel with a sewing machine.
Okay.
So it just, I thought maybe at some point I will, change, and study. But it has always, I have always been drawn back to creating clothes, after, for instance, after my divorce, I have 3 children, I'm divorced. So after my divorce, I went back to school. I went to Wits. I did what is this? Okay. I did a 3-year degree, but in second year, I speech and hearing therapy. Yeah. In second year, I decided that no, my children are not coping. I am actually, I would leave them and, go to study sessions and things that are related to my new, choice of study. I would leave them and I would forget them. They would come back from school. The gate is locked. I'm not back. It's raining. They are sitting outside, So I thought, okay, let me put this on hold, go back to what I have always done, and then I'll go back to studying again. And it has never happened.
Wow.
I find myself, creating, trying to do that.
So you typically was a single mom building a career out of nothing, traveling the world and selling South African designs to other countries and other cultures. And you did this on your own.
On my own. I did it on my own.
That is a phenomenal story. I mean, it is not, easy balancing, traveling, work, your business, your kids, your
Mm.
life. What was your secret? You sound like a superwoman.
No, I have a lot of support, actually.
Okay.
A lot of support from family, from friends, over the years. They have always been the extended structure. If I can't take my child to church, somebody will be there to take them. If I can't, attend a sports meeting, somebody would go on my behalf. So my children have got many, extended. It's like family, family, outside
Yeah.
family. Yeah. So they know if I can't make it, uncle will come and take him and take her. So that is what has helped me over the years.
Okay. So a very good support system that helped you to get to, where you are
Well,
today. Wow.
yes,
Okay.
definitely.
So
Yeah.
what are some of the projects you're busy with right now? Besides the community work in South Africa, we're going to get back to that now. What are some of your clientels that you look at, from across the globe? Are you in any projects with them right now?
Well, no, currently, I think during this time of the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
I actually had to relook the whole structure of my business.
Okay.
So I am currently working. What I've done actually is to the time during lockdown, I actually had time to think about the changes that are happening in the world and how to restructure my business, because business has changed. It has changed. The face of fashion has actually changed. So I am doing what is called CMT work. CMT work
Mm-hmm.
is more factory, more production,
Mm-hmm.
bulk work. It actually started with the at the time of lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
the masks. It started with the masks.
Okay.
So I have a lot of offcuts from the fabrics that I've been using over time. I would give them away to to schools, and I would give them away over the years, but I've always had a lot of offcuts. So I started doing masks with the offcuts, and then now I started looking for large projects, big bulk work, and then the whole idea of manufacturing, bulk
Mm-hmm.
work. I went back into, production. I've studied it before. I had studied it before, but I always went back to, being home-based because of my children. I had looked at premises before, big premises for, big production. So after the, this time of COVID and all that, I revisited that idea of, doing bulk work and looking for, work that is, because now people are staying at home. No one is dressing up. No one is, wearing, there's no events to go to. So now people are no longer dressing up. So I had to try and look for products that I can work with and still stay in business. And I am also, taking my business, moving it to, to the direction of moving it online. I've realized that I need visibility online. Before, it was not that much of a big deal to me because on a day-to-day basis, I've had work over the years. I've been busy, but now it has changed now. So I have changed the face. I've changed the way that I do business. Now I'm focusing on what is needed, which is medical, scrubs, masks, all those items. I'm also big on revamping clothing. People have clothes that are sitting in their wardrobes that they have not worn for years. So
Okay.
I rework the clothes.
Okay.
And then, I bring them back to life. So now, instead of giving away your beautiful garments, I rework them and you have a new wardrobe.
That is absolutely fantastic. Have you ever thought about how do you promote that?
I am now, working on getting an app and putting that business online.
Okay.
Revamping, revamping wardrobes. I'm also working on furniture.
Okay.
Personalizing, I'm also working on furniture, revamping furniture, redoing furniture, and personalizing your own. Let's say I've partnered with a printing company. We can make your own fabric. If you want anything personalized, we make fabric that is yours. So we trying to develop different ways of doing business.
Okay. Khutala, I mean, you have some interesting concepts. I mean, we have, hi, Guy. So we have Guy on the line. Thank you so much for joining, Guy. Guy says revamping clothing is talking to her. I think you're going to hit a market right there already, Khutala, because a lot of people don't know what to do with their clothes. In some cases, I can tell you from personal experience, I've gained weight. I've gained weight. The pandemic has made me eat, right?
Yeah.
And I think, people are, haven't put on their work clothes again, and they haven't, looked at themselves again. Obviously there's, we're opening up certain gym facilities right now, to get back into the mode of training again. But it is going to take them some time, So I think, that what you're talking about revamping clothing is something I don't think people have even touched that industry. We had a very young entrepreneur in Youth Month in June, and he has a thrift shop, okay, and secondhand clothing, and he sells the secondhand clothing. But revamping of clothing is something totally different.
Yeah. I've done it before, but
is it? Wow.
I've not done it in a big scale, like taking the whole wardrobe, taking
Yes.
all. I would do it, let's say 2 garments.
Yeah.
But now I visit you and look at your wardrobe, and the small clothes, we open them up, and then we add fur, we add, crystal here, and then the clothes that are big, we make them fitted. You change the whole look. And you have
Can
a
I
new
put my hand up? Can I be the first person to put my hand up? And you can showcase me. How's that? You can showcase me.
Yeah,
Tuka.
we have a platform already.
Is it?
This platform. We'll use this
Huh?
every
Absolutely.
time. Every time you interview someone, you will be wearing something that is
Oh, look at
revamped.
that. I think Guy, you're gonna be showcasing some of the stuff, Guy. I think you're gonna have to come online. I promise you, I would be standing right in front of you, and I would be being the person that's cheering you on and making sure that people know that this is what you're doing. Khutala, I think you've touched on something that a lot of people needs the revamping of their clothing, but they just don't know how to do it.
Yes, so it's a need.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
now things are changing. So you need to try and find the gaps in the market.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think you need to come back onto Open Mic, Khutala, and talk about the revamping project that you have and some of the things. I'm happy for you to invite me home and we can showcase our viewers and we can get most of these ladies coming on. I have Lesego that just joined and she's a close friend of mine. Lesego she dresses to kill. I know her so well. Hi, Lesego. And why I'm saying this, Khutala, is that a lot of women don't know what to do with their clothes. A lot of women don't know what to do with what they have in the wardrobe. They don't have a Khutala in the back at the house to say, oh, come and redesign my wardrobe for me. And leave alone an international designer. Leave alone an international designer, right? I think what I love about this platform is that it is ordinary women, right? It's ordinary women that I want to help. Ordinary women that have the space to share their stories, an ordinary woman that comes here and just say and be at peace with whatever. And here I have such an inspiring woman, that is doing so much of good in the community and so much of work that you've been building on for so long as a single mom, leave alone that, as a single mom. And you went, through Enswork. So guys, Guy, I'm sorry, Guy. I'm first in line here to get the revamp of a wardrobe.
Yeah.
We have someone. August says your journey is inspiring, especially from a young, inspiring fashion designer's perspective. Looking at the current world's atmosphere, it's definitely take perseverance and hard work to pierce into the fashion industry. Thank you. That is absolutely true. It's not an easy
Yeah.
industry, to pierce through. You got that break. I think a lot of people saw the talent in you, when you went for it. What do you think would be your biggest challenge that you faced as that creative designer that you are?
The challenge has always been funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've realized that, in my path, in my journey, I've started many things and stopped. And then I would start and try and look for funding. There was a time through the Department of Small Business, I was part of a project whereby our designs were selected and taken to Atlanta. And in Atlanta, we took part in America's Mart. It's a big buyers market where buyers from all over the world, they come and they identify products to put in stores. So it's a big project where the department has a South African showroom. It's like, an at home, the best products from South Africa. So when you get into such projects, you think that all work is coming and, I'm made, I'm part of this project. But when it doesn't get anywhere, when the orders don't come, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get all these thousands and thousands of orders, from all over the world, because my products are at America's Mart in Atlanta, and nothing happens. So you start, you have hope, you go to government for funding, you're hoping that now I've arrived, I've been selected, I'm one of, the few, and nothing happens. So I've tried, things don't always turn out the way you want. I've tried on my own, I've tried with, government assistance, but I find that some of the projects I start, I stop. It doesn't work. Then what happens when things don't work? You have to move on. You have to keep keeping on. So even if things work, even if things don't work, you have to try and find ways of making it work somehow, because you cannot give up.
Yeah, that's wise words, wise words. I mean, that's in any business that we have. I mean, in today's economy, in society, how people view us, how people see us, the belief that we have in our businesses and the things that we own is things that we pierce through, and to have the hope inside of us in order to continue and strive for it, and to make sure that we do pierce through what we need to do. So that's very true, very, very true. So guys, any questions, any comments, please share it through. We had all of these ladies coming through. We have quite a few people that's here. Dala raised his hand. Thank you so much for joining. I do appreciate it. I sent you a message on who the winner is. I'm not too sure if you want to announce it, Khutala.
Okay, right.
So Khutala sponsored us a duck and a mask for today's show. And she was so, I was so inspired by her designs, and, she shared with her her designs with me. I'm going to send a picture of the design after this talk, which I did on the post initially. But with all the comments and the active talk, basically I have a look and to see who is on there, and basically pick out, from a pack, and to see who's won. So Khutala, do you want to announce who the winner is?
The winner is Glenette Joseph.
Yay, that's Guy. Her name's Guy.
Oh. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a lovely mask and duck set.
I just want to say Glenette. Okay. So Guy, I will send you the details. You are a winner for today's show. Thank you so much for joining and commenting, on that. I think he's also very interested about revamping clothing. Khutala, I'm going to tell you to come back on into open mic this month, and let's talk about the revamping of clothing and that project that you have going. I would like to help you to get the word out there. I would also like to make sure that people are aware of what does revamping of clothing mean in the wardrobe, and what are the services that you can provide them to get the word out there, so that they know that this is a unique opportunity, right? I mean, you don't know what you don't know, but when you see it, it's something totally different.
That's great. That's great news. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great news, because I've started with a few people. It's okay. The results are amazing.
Okay, maybe you can showcase. I mean, you can ask them to showcase as well.
The before and the after.
Yeah, the before and after.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. So let's do that. Let's do that. right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you when to do it. So I'm going to leave you to take the before and the after pictures. And what would be nice if they can come on with you on the talk as
Okay.
well, for them to
Yes.
share what it was like to go through that experience of revamping their clothing, right? Guy, I am serious. You did win the prize. It's a lovely duk and a mask.
And the
I'm
mask.
going to
Yeah.
share the picture with you. Thank you so much for joining, Guy. You're such a precious soul. Thank you so much. And I'm very serious. You did win it. I will send you. I'm not too sure, Khutala. You and I can do the arrangements. If I'm not mistaken, Guy lives in the south of Johannesburg.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, she lives in the
So
south.
I must just get her address. I'll courier
Okay.
it to her. Mm.
Okay, I'll speak to her and I'll negotiate how we're gonna do this, right? So guys, I just want to bring something up to your attention. So we usually do these talks on a Sunday afternoon, which is still gonna continue. We have a special announcement coming through about GBV next week Sunday. We're partnering up with AFBOB and Tears Foundations coming to next week. So I want you guys to please tune in. There's some beautiful work that's happening with GBV. Next week, Saturday, myself and Rudo is going to be coming on to open mic on a Saturday. Just as an ad hoc, we are going to be running something called Women of Today. And Women of Today is about inspiring how do we see women of today? And it's a competition, it's a challenge that I'm putting off to people. And Khutala, you are welcome as well. It's about from a creative perspective, how do we see women today? So I'm looking for videos, I'm looking for designs, I'm looking for words, I'm looking for stories, I'm looking for video clips. I'm looking for all sorts of things that you can share with the world today of how do we see women of today. Guys, there's prizes to be won. There's Take a Lot vouchers that's going to be going away. At the end of we have 3 judges. We have 3 judges. And Pelakazi is one of those judges. So we have 3 judges. And we want to see the expression of people. Guys online, it doesn't matter whether you're a woman or whether you're a guy. If you're a guy, express to us, how do you see a woman of today? Women, it's about how do you see women of today? What does it mean to be a woman of today? So I'm challenging you guys, right? We're gonna have this competition. We're gonna be putting up on the website. It's gonna be on social media. There's prizes to be won. It is sponsored by Open Mic. There is no partnering with anyone. It is going to be Take a Lot vouchers that's going to be giveaway. We're going to judge it on a few aspects. There's going to be guidelines coming out. We're going to announce it next week, Saturday. So we want people to send through all of their creativity, their work, whether it's a design, whether it's art, whether it's illustration, whether it's a story, whether it's poetry, Khutala, whether it's poetry, whether it's a video clip. We're going to set you up some guidelines so that you guys can see how people are expressing what women are today. And I want to get the word out there to see how we see ourselves today. If guys are entering, for me, it's about seeing how do they see women of today, which is really important, right? Very, very important. August, he says, thank you for a great interview and happy Women's Month to you all incredible women out in the world. Thank you so much as well, August, for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Khutala, I want to say thank you to you for sharing your story with us and coming on and giving us this incredible inspirational story today. Thank you so much for sponsoring that gift to our viewers. Our winner is Guy as well. We truly appreciate you. And I want to say, you're going to come back on again, and I want to see some of your work that you've been doing.
Thank you so much, Sashni. It's been a pleasure.
Any last final words from your side?
It's my first Zoom, by the way, today.
That's great.
I just want to say to everyone, be the change you want, be the person you want to see, the change. If whenever you have to change, be that person you want to see, you know. Yeah.
I agree 100%. Okay. Thank you so much to our viewers. Thank you so much, Khutala. Have a great evening, and we'll be in touch soon. And everyone, tune in to next week, Saturday. It's just going to be a prompt. Please be inspired by Women of Today. Send through your votes, send through your applications. We're looking forward to see what South Africa and the world. Just remember, Open Mic Foundation is a global platform. So I'm inviting everyone to come on board and to collaborate, and let's see what we come up with, because I'm very interesting. Maybe Khutala and I can collaborate onto something that comes out of the winner, and we can see what we can do from an imprint, from a saying, from a slogan. It'll be fascinating to see what the women are saying today. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, bye.
Bye.